Okay, good evening. David Cashman here with SEB Housing. This is the lottery for the affordable homeownership units at Autumn Heights in Rehoboth. I'm going to give just a little bit of background information before we do the drawing. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. If anyone does not know their lottery application number, again, that was that number we sent to you. That was A.001 or A.002. If you don't know it, let me know, and I'm happy to look it up for you so you know what number you're listening for. But just to give you a little bit of background before we do the drawing, as you know, there are 10 affordable homes being built at this development. They'll be built at varying times. And then three different styles. There were 4 households who completed the application process. Now, there were more households who didn't apply, or who applied and didn't complete it, but who are still trying. And there's been more households who have been expressing interest since the deadline. But there were 4 households who completed the process and who were eligible. So there are 4 households in the lottery. And again, if anyone isn't sure if they're in the lottery or has forgot their lottery application number, please let me know and I'll look it up for you. So there's only going to be one waiting list. There's only the households only come in the 3-bedroom variety. There's no local preference or none of the other things where sometimes we need to have multiple different waiting lists. There's only going to be one waiting list generated from the lottery drawing. And so all 4 households who are in the lottery will be on that waiting list. Now, I should tell you that of the 4 households who qualified, 1 household was a type 3 household. Recall, a type 3 household is like typically larger household types who might have 6 or 5 members or even 4 members and who the program says are appropriately sized for 3-bedroom units. There was 1 type 2 household. So those households are, the program says, appropriately sized for a 2-bedroom unit. Obviously, there are no 2-bedroom units here. They can still obviously apply for a 3-bedroom. They just don't get priority. The type 3 households get first priority. And there are also 2 type 1 households. So same as the type 2 households, those households are appropriately sized for actually 1-bedroom units. Again, there are no 1-bedroom units. They can still apply for a 3-bedroom units as they have done. They will just be behind the type 2 and the type 3 households. So really, I'm going to do this drawing, but I can tell you already, just based on the way the program makes us sort it, the number 1 household on the waiting list is going to be the type 3 household. Then the next household, doesn't matter the order that I draw them, is going to be the type 2 household. The only thing we're not sure of is as between the 2 type 1 households, which one will be number 3 and which one will be number 4. Okay? And again, the order that households are on the waiting list just determines the order that they're going to get to move forward in the next step in this process, which is to reserve the home of their choice, ultimately sign a purchase and sale agreement for that home, get a mortgage commitment and close on that unit. As there are only 4 households in the lottery, all 4 households are going to get to move forward in that process, which is great. It's just a question of, the order, or really the order for the number 3 and number 4. And that will, when households are eligible to move forward, they'll get a notice from us. We'll also include the development team on that email so that you have each other's contact information, and it'll have instructions about moving forward. But essentially, the number 1 household is going to get to choose from any of the 10 available units, whether it's the first one being built or the last one. And then once they've done that, then we'll reach out to the next household. We'll send the email to them and the development team that says, okay, now it's your turn to reserve any of the remaining 9 units. And once they've done that, we'll move on to the 3rd household with the same notice that says you get to choose from any of the remaining 8 units, and then on to the 4th household. Okay. And just as a reminder, we'll stay involved in that process up through the closing, but that's primarily because households need to do a second, like an update of their program files of their applications to demonstrate that they remain program eligible through closing. Okay, so you've done an excellent job getting this far. Congratulations on getting this far. You're not at the end of the process yet. There are some other steps, obviously, that go into the home buying process and working with the sales team. But there's also, from a program standpoint and from the standpoint of certifying, households have to remain program eligible up through closing. So, if you win the lottery tomorrow, that would make you ineligible. So the point is, that's really the primary reason that SEB Housing stays involved. Once you've got that email that says you're approved, now you can coordinate next steps with the sales team. We stay involved wanting to know which unit you've reserved and when, P&S is signed and when you're anticipating closing, because that lets us know when we need to reach out to you to say it's time to complete the update of your program file to demonstrate that you've remained eligible through the closing. But that's really kind of the main reason. So, if there are other issues about when, relating to the P&S agreement or when you're going to close, this is new construction. Oftentimes in new construction, units, can be delayed. That's just kind of, hopefully not, but that is common. So if there are issues around, when are you going to be able to close or why is it delayed? Those are issues between you and the development team, not SEB Housing. Okay, we don't control that. And the information that we have in terms of when units are going to be ready and stuff is the information that's given to us by the sales team. Same information that you would be given as part of the home buying process. All right. So I can do the drawing now. Did any household have any question before I do it? Once I do it, I'll shortly thereafter, after we conclude the lottery and end the live stream, I'll just organize the waiting list and then I'll email it to you. And the waiting list will just have the 4 lottery household numbers in order, top to bottom. And that's the order that they're going to get to move forward in the next steps in the process. And just so households know, I know you've gone through a rigorous certification with SEB Housing. We do need to get final approval of that from the monitoring agent. Usually that's, from time to time, we forget to ask something that they want us to ask for, and we'll let you know if that's the case. I think in the vast majority of cases, they say, SEB, you've done a thorough review. We agree this household is approved. But point is, we do still need that final approval from them. So after tonight, we'll send the 4 household files to them. We'll say, hey, we've done a thorough review. We think they're all program eligible. Please just, give the final stamp of approval. And that process can take, depending on how busy they are, maybe 1 to 2 weeks. And then once we have that information from them, we'll reach back out to you and let you know, great, you've been finally certified. You're good. You're certified up to this point, and now we're going to, as soon as the sales team lets us know it's okay, we'll start putting households. We'll send those emails around that I had mentioned, where we email you and we email the sales team one at a time. And say, okay, Joe Smith is number 1 on the waiting list. We're going to put Joe on the clock to engage in the home buying process with the sales team. All right. I see that there are 8 households attending. There's only on this YouTube live stream, there's only 4 households in the lottery. So I don't know if there are households just kind of watching in, which is totally fine. But if there's anyone who thinks they might be in the lottery but isn't quite sure, you can certainly let me know, because I'm only drawing 4 numbers. Okay. All right. And just so you know, I think I may have held this up during the info session. Here's our lottery box. Okay. I've already put the 4 application numbers in here on note cards. I'm going to shake this up And then as I draw the numbers out one by one, I will hold them up to the screen so you can see them. Again, there's only 4 numbers, so it's going to go pretty quickly here. And then I will send you an email in probably the next hour or two. With the waiting lists in order, so that you know where you are. And then again, in the next couple of weeks, you should get a further email from us once we've heard back from the monitoring agent on the status of your file. Okay, so here we go. A.002. Next number drawn is A.004. Next number, A.003. And then final one is going to be A.001. All right, that was quick. So that's it. Congrats on getting this far. Like I said, I'll organize the waiting list. I'll send an email in the next hour or two, so you know exactly where you are on the waiting list. You'll get further communications from SEB Housing about next steps. And once we've heard back from the monitoring agent, and once we do, we'll start putting households on the clock to engage in the next step in this process. Any questions before I conclude this, or is everyone good? All right, great. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we will be in touch. Have a great night, everyone.